Okay, I want to move on to my favorite topic right now, which is every Republican's favorite topic, Rachel, which is the Mamdani of it all. Zohran Mamdani, the socialist, radical crazy person who's probably going to be the next mayor of New York. I have a bunch of friends who keep telling me there's a lot of oppo coming out about him, which means opposition research, which means stuff that wasn't found out about him when he was initially running. And in fact, that did happen over the weekend. So the New York Times published an article on Thursday of revelations obtained via hacked information. By the way, that will include my information because I went to Columbia University and graduated in
Oh, what are we going to find
2007.
out about you,
So I'm
Megan?
Which boxes
okay.
did you check, Megan? Which boxes did you check?
I checked Caucasian because I'm a white person. I'm not under any illusions
How
that I
dare
am
you
not
be
a
honest? How dare you be honest?
And you
I
still got
did.
in? Oh my goodness.
And just good old fashioned nepotism, I guess. Even though it didn't work for him, even though his dad is his dad
Professor.
is
Love
his
Yeah.
that
dad is a
lean in, yes.
professor there. Anyway, let me get to the point. So he Mamdani applied to Columbia University, my alma mater, in 2009, and he checked the box as he was a black man and Asian in the portion of the application. People are saying it's because he's from Africa, but you can be from Africa as Elon Musk and Charlize Theron's show and not be black. Like, you're talking about a racial box that they're checking. The New York Times reported that Mamdani told the paper in an interview that he did not consider himself black or African American, but rather an American who was born in Africa. Uh, do you care about seeing that we have a clip of him saying the same thing? He has said again and again he does not consider himself a black man. This seems to be something that's only upsetting Republicans, but I think, like, let's turn the table and my Columbia applications out there, which I guess is somewhere on the internet, by the way, and have a field day. And I had checked black instead, or just a race that I wasn't, whatever, Hispanic, whatever. Like, I feel like people would have some feelings about it, but for whatever reason, a lot of people are giving him a pass. How much of an issue is this for him? Again, this seems to be just like another bit of a bunch of oppo that have come out, including a picture of him giving the finger to the statue of Christopher Columbus with a rubber glove on, because apparently he was wearing gloves during COVID, whatever. What do you make of all this, Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be a political liability. I mean, Eric Adams has already basically latched onto this to suggest that he's using race to try to advance his way in the world. There was this quote over the weekend: "The African American identity is not a check the box, a checkbox of convenience." So, I mean, Adams is definitely going to try to use this to come after him. I will say I come at this a little bit differently because I don't feel like this is sort of an Elizabeth Warren 2.0 situation. I mean, we
Hmm.
all remember the controversy with her where she sort of checked a
Yeah,
box
she
saying
said
she
she
was
was
Native
Native
American.
American.
Right, exactly.
Ridiculous.
Um, but like this is a little different. I mean, he was born in Uganda. He lived there for 7 years. Yes, he is of Indian heritage, but his dad's family had been there for like 100 years or something like that. Had lived in East Africa for 100 years. Which, I mean, race aside, and we don't know if there was any sort of inner racial marriages or anything like that. But like, tradition wise and cultural wise, they were there for a very his whole family was there for a very long time. He's a dual US and Uganda citizen. He talked about this often. When he was in the state assembly, his webpage apparently touted that he was the first South Asian man and first Ugandan to serve in the New York State Assembly. He talked about it some on the campaign trail. So I don't think, for me at least, if I was a New York voter, like, I would not look at this and be like, oh my God, what a liar. I mean, there are, like, serious justifications, I think, for maybe checking both of those boxes. If you're applying to a school, you're trying to give yourself the best leg up. It's not a lie to say his family has connections to East Africa and Uganda, et cetera. So I guess that's just how I see it. I think, it will be interesting to see how Eric Adams, again, uses this in the race, whether he tries to sort of repel Mamdani from like black voters. And I think you could very well see that. But it feels a little more nuanced because there really is a family history in Uganda for him.
Hmm. There are a lot of other questions about him in general. I mean, we've been talking about it for like over a week now, just that, he wants to tax white people in New York more than minorities. He wants government run grocery stores. He's just a proud socialist on every level. And again, like this is a whole new to me, it's like very honest about the direction of the Democrat Party. But I think the tricky part is the fact that, he went on Meet the Press last week and he would not say that he is not okay with the statement globalize the intifada. And he's been highly criticized by Jewish groups, including our friend Jonathan Greenblatt, who's the head of the Anti-Defamation League. And then another clip came out over the weekend, number 7. And this is a clip I just want to say to our viewers, anyone watching or listening, this is a pretty anti-Semitic clip, but I think it's worth showing just because it shows what kind of person he is. I also just want to say, like, from my perspective on the world, we should never, ever, under any circumstances, make fun of anyone's religious practices. I think it's just disrespectful in general. Okay, number 7, please. Okay, we get the point. It's a longer clip. It's like a whole sketch video. I guess he was trying to be an actor at some point. This clip has been really ripped apart by Jewish advocacy groups for showing Indian men cosplaying Jews. He also does another video, which we just don't need, we didn't have time to show, making fun of Christians and Christmas. I don't like any of
Supposed to be
this.
funny about that. I don't
Yeah,
get.
I was
I
gonna
don't.
say I didn't really
I
understand
don't. I
the
mean,
context of it, but
even just as like I can remove, like if I want to remove the racism from it, but like what's funny about it? It's just not funny.
Well, I also have this whole mandate that I would like failed actors and failed theater kids to stop going into politics as a second term of their life, like because they fail at that, so they want to go into politics. There's too many goddamn people who are failed actors and musicians trying to be in politics. I hate it.
Well, even
Um,
worse is he's come out and talked about that clip saying he's actually not in it. He doesn't appear as an actor in it. He just reshared it, which is even worse almost because it's like he thought he watched that, thought it was funny enough and good enough to reshare to his followers. So it's not even like, oh, I made this and I'm proud of it. He thought it was hilarious and thought it was funny and worth sharing. So I don't know if that's might even be worse on some kind of level.
The broader question for you, Rachel, the politics of it all. I think he is moving the goalposts of what's acceptable in the Democrat Party.
yeah.
And I think the Democrat Party is moving more and more towards the, is it DSA, Democrat Socialist of America Party? I actually do think this is the future. I actually do think we could see a convention in 2028 where globalize the intifada is in like headlines and on a banner behind a candidate. Like I actually do think this is the direction of the party. And it's not that I think there are Democrats that don't disagree with it. I just think Democrats are powerless to stop it. I think Chuck Schumer has no power in this situation whatsoever. Jerry Nadler, no power. Nancy Pelosi, no power. What do you make of all this? And do you think that he is the future? Because I really do. I have never underestimated this man. Pull the receipts. We've been saying for over a month we thought he was going to win. I was like basically laughed at by a
Before
few people,
anybody
by
knew
the
his
way.
name,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think he's going to be a mega star for Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'd go as far as, globalize the Antifada, like, my God, but this direction, this is clearly the direction of the Democratic Party, especially when it comes to, democratic socialism, et cetera. I mean, right now that is ascendant. People talk about if a Democratic primary was right now, AOC would probably be the one to sweep, the primary for president. So, and I agree. I think that is true. I think that moderate Democrats are increasingly extinct, and when they do speak out and sort of push back, they're very quickly, stifled and pushed back on and being told to shut up by their own party. And part of it is, you're right, the leadership of the Democratic Party. There just isn't any. I did this column a few months ago where a speaker, Nancy Pelosi, sort of communicative strategist, came on and talked about the Democratic Party and how much of a mess it is and how there's not strong leadership right now. And part of that is because you don't have a Nancy Pelosi anymore. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries, very new, very green, seems very concerned about what the left thinks of him. Pelosi, when she led, she was in a very different position in that she told people to sit down and shut up. She would tell the progressives, like, I need your energy, but not your policy. I know what can win elections. I know what can win middle America. We're not doing Medicare for all. We're not going to do the Green New Deal. But like, where are the Democratic leaders who are willing to say that right now? They don't really exist. You have, Ken Martin over at the DNC, who, one of my colleagues at Politico reported basically, was crying on a call and
S-
saying it was too hard of a
Sad, yeah.
job and that he was being undercut by David Hogg, who's like, what, 25 years old? Or like, it's just, you don't see the type of sort of backbone that the party needs to say no to the move toward the left. And so absent that, yes, the tug is going to continue, and they're going to continue to be pulled to the left. And I think another place to look for this is going to be in the primaries for 2026. Donna Brazile and I have talked about this, in green rooms at ABC, and like actually on set too at ABC, but like she just thinks there's going to be this big, inter party fight, and that, it's going to be a bloodbath in primaries. And I think she's right. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of folks on the left win, but then it'll be interesting to see, if they lose, their general elections, because that's not where most of America is right now. It's just not.